All right, we're live, baby. Look, I got my USA shirt. So we'll talk a little Red Sox. I'm gonna watch the press conference at 8 o'clock, which is going to be on Nesson. Yeah. We're gonna go on TikTok Live as well. Live, live, live. Go live. 3, 2, 1. Yep, we're gonna be on live on TikTok. So anybody want to hop in here in the chat? The Red Sox are going to have a press conference at 8 o'clock tonight to discuss everything from Seattle. Um, I'm having a little trouble with the internet here. Yeah. Just saw Giancarlo Stanton is back. I love to mess with people on social media. Like I just tweeting that I'm talking Red Sox for a bit and that I don't know what to talk about. And I guarantee you somebody's going to take that literal. What's up, CK? Lou Merloni has some good things to say. This whole trade is really weird in the short term. See what happens in the long term. I hope so, Chad. Chad, if you can be my agent, I'll hire you. I mean, what if I walked into the radio booth wearing this? So I am old enough. This was my team. I had this T-shirt as a kid. And this friggin' app had a. This is like a recreation of this. I had this shirt when I was what was the Dream Team 92, so I was 19 years old, and I saw this. Oh, thanks, man. I missed doing that show, but I saw this on the TikTok store, and I had to get it. I never get sucked into things like that, but, like, I have this shirt on up. The Big Jab. You know what's crazy, Chad, about the Big Jab is I kinda knew this, and I forgot about this. I'm gonna put this hold on, switch people. Howard Stern knows, JJ Jeffrey, by the way. Howard Stern talks about driving up to Maine. He did this I heard it a couple of months ago. He talked about how he met JJ. JJ is that big booming voice. Big jab, 95. That's JJ. He knows Howard. He tore Howard down. I love the dude. Joe, I was just on with them a couple weeks ago. Love those guys. I think the TikTok live might be where it's at. So the Red Sox are gonna talk at 8. It's going to be televised on Netflix. You know what's kind of, divine intervention is the Red Sox, trade last night is going to produce some of the highest rated radio programs across New England, and I would think that this press conference tonight on Zoom is gonna be the most what, two zoomed in? It's gonna be one of the highest rated press conferences in the history of press conference ratings. Do we have those anywhere? Does anyone have those? That'd be funny. The Twitch stream twitching out? Looks like it is. I've got bad internet here. I've upgraded my internet. What up, John? On TikTok Live too. Just search MikeAntonellis. Find me on there. Chad, thanks for liking the live. But everybody's got the same story about Rafael Devers' trade. I got the message. I was watching White Lotus. This is really, this is what I'm really mad about. Season 2, episode 1. Love season 1. I'm watching 23 minutes into season 2, episode 1, and bam, I get a direct message on Instagram from a buddy saying, "Is this true?" And it was from MLB Trade Rumors that Devers had be traded. And I heard about 10 people today said that the same guy had the same story. What up, John? Randy? Big Poppy really kinda tore into Devers today. So, I've talked about it. It's a weird, it feels weird. The timing's not great. The short term, it definitely kills your lineup. So, what we want to see now is what's gonna happen if the Red Sox. I think they should look for a right-handed bat. I think that's been the thing kind of all year. Um, and they get somebody via the trade, and it could be someone we're not even thinking about. Yeah, Chad, I hope they do it now. I think the team's good enough to win. Bullpen's good. It's only gonna get better. I think Jordan Hicks will be good. You get him figured out. That guy threw 102 to 104 when he was with the Cardinals and then wanted to be a starter, and that should be a full-time reliever. We'll see, the guys you got in the deal, it's irrelevant. I said this last night. You got out of the money. So, you weren't getting Logan Webb. You weren't getting the prospects. San Fran knew what you were doing. They knew that you wanted to get out of that. That's how trading works. The best trading is when you have so much depth and you can just say, "No, we'll hold on to these." That's kinda what the trade proposals they're probably getting for Anthony and Meyer are probably crazy. It is funny, Reds are playing the Giants on Friday. It's also the battle of brothers in the radio, if you guys don't know that. Will Fleming, who is the voice of the Red Sox, his brother Dave is the voice of the Giants. How about that? You think Dave told Will any secrets about what's going on? I will tell all of you this. I've been around the block doing this for 29 years professionally. there are a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that I've seen with teams that I'll never, I'll never share, that will never come out, no one will ever find out about. If a star like this had to be traded, it got to be really bad. It's not just about position flexibility, um, you know, and from what, you're reading about, Lou Merloni made a great point, short term, it's not great. It really is not. You lose your best hitter, weak to your lineup. It's gonna hurt you. I think Roman Anthony's gonna have a big road trip, though, because I think Roman needed to get out, go away. He's gonna have less distractions. Um, so I'm gonna look for Roman to have a big, trip. But, yeah, short term, it's not good. Let's see what I get people mad, but if they can redeem this and turn this, a lot of it wasn't handled great. And I don't know all the conversation. I saw this thing a couple of months ago where Howard Reynolds was claiming that he did talk to him about all of this, which I don't know if that's true. The biggest problem for me with the Red Sox is changing direction of general managers. I don't think you can keep doing that. I think that is a tough thing to keep. Yeah, it's crazy that they're playing, the Giants. Giants, Jim Miller says. And, the Red Sox are playing a very good pitching team. Seattle hasn't been hitting much. I wonder if they were in the mix too. And say, "Hey, Dave, what's going on, man?" The Red Sox nation shook, rattled, and roll, I guess, I don't know. Shook and rattled and rolled up in a ball. But I get it. Really, I do. I get people's frustration. It's hard to have a lot of, like, civil conversations right now. People are screaming. I got a lot of messages screaming. I get it. Um, Dave, I'll get you on next time. How's that? Not sure, but, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a gut punch. It's the way you've been playing, but this was definitely in the works for a while. Oh, Brian, that's nice. Yeah, good that you'll be up here. Oh, I can respond to you on here, but I get frustration. I do. I didn't have a great feeling when I, saw the new it was really a weird feeling, like, "What in the world is going on?" And then you just yeah. I think it was on my mind all day today. We got Woosocks Nation in the house. That is always good on TikTok Live. Romeo, what's going on? Carlos, Michelle. What are yeah, no. David here on Twitch. My uncle isn't watching the Red Sox anymore. Yeah, no, I know. I get it. Um, but I still think this is kind of what happens when you have 4 different general managers. I just don't think that that's That to me is the biggest fault of John Henry. This is not a salary dump, by the way. I don't want people to think that because if Jermaine I listened to EEI this morning, Jermaine Wiggins, intelligent thing I heard all day, really. Evers was a trooper and, oh, he said, "Yeah, I'll play first base." He's playing first base right now, and everything's hunky dory. They don't trade him. The trade is a result of the other stuff. So, this is a baseball ops decision that John Henry is trusting them on. So, as an owner, I give him credit for that. They're trusting their baseball people. That's what they're doing. I mean, but I do think it got there's, like, a lot of reports coming out about some other stuff, and people are mad about that. Well, those things are not gonna come out when things are good. Yes, when they're ratings. I did see Ortiz's comments. Yeah, Ortiz is very critical. Um, so I agree with a lot of people's who are for Devers and against Devers. It's okay to see both sides of it. But I get people's, how outraged they are. But, here's another thing that I thought was really what they want. I know what they want, and Cora knew what he had Bregman. Yesterday after the game, Bregman was spending 10 minutes after a win talking with Anthony and Meyer on an iPad about their bats and going through things that they can do better, you know, and they gave that guy a lot of money. And also the Red Sox spent they dropped 170 on Crochet, 60 on Campbell, who was an A-ball last year, and they spent about 80 they have 80 this year in free agency that they signed. So they spent north of $300 million this year. The Bregman, when they signed Bregman, they gave Bueller about $21 million. Um, Chapman, he signed Patrick Sandoval to a $19 million contract. I mean, think about that. So they have the cheap thing is a little exaggerated. It's fabricated, and I get it. The movie thing makes I get all that. But to say that they're cheap is a little it's come on. We and I get it, but some of you are, like, way over the top. I mean, um, yeah, so I got a question on Twitch, Bregman's reaction to all this. I don't think Bregman here to play second base. That's all I can tell you. And Bregman obviously is not Devers in the way Bregman's a mentor, and that's no fault of Devers, he's just not that guy. That's where you have to decide when you spend money. When you give somebody a big, big contract, they gotta be the face of the franchise, they really do. They gotta wanna Ohtani's the face of the Dodgers. The things he does, Judge is the face of the Yankees. He holds people account like, you gotta have the role, and, so you could fault maybe the Red Sox for investing that. Maybe they shouldn't have done that. Maybe they were wrong. So things happen too, guys, gals. Things don't work out, and maybe this is a good wake-up call for Devers. The root of the problem is what? We're missing the root of the whole issue. Uh, yeah, Conrad, I'll get back to you in a minute 'cause I get what you're saying. But the problem started where? How did this all start? Player did not get better at the position. Devers was the worst defensive third baseman in the game. That's not debatable. That's a fact. Fielding percentage, he was last. All the metrics, he was last. All of that, he was last. That's what started it. The Red Sox did not want this to happen. I was with Devers in 2017. He's great. Great guy. Loved him. Talk to him all the time. Come on the bus after the game, always, always smiling. "Hey, hey, Bobby." Great guy. Unbelievable hitter. Some of the balls he hit, I have a picture of, in the batter's box at Hartford. I got some pictures of him from spring training. But I remember Carlos Febles, the manager, really having to push him defensively. I mean, he really had to stay on him. That's all young guys. A lot of guys are not great defensively when they start off. That's how it is. But he didn't get better. He didn't get better. He got worse. And there is nobody in player development and on the big league coaching staff, including Alex Cora, that wanted to do what they had to excuse me, um, that wanted to do that. If you wanna do that, right? I mean, you want him to be the hitter he is, which is elite, and play third base. They didn't wanna have to do what they did. Bregman was brought in because they needed to upgrade defensively at third base. So the problem started with the player, and whether we can debate all of that, maybe he just wouldn't have any gotten better. Maybe he's gonna be better in San Francisco. I don't know. Maybe third base was not his position. Maybe he should have been moved to first. You know what I mean? Like, he could have been signed with another organization, and they could have said, "You're not a third baseman." Maybe he should have been put to first base years ago. We saw this coming. He never got better defensively, and I don't know if they just thought that was gonna happen. And when Alex Cora, and I said this yesterday, when Alex Cora said the last regime signed him to that big deal thinking he could play third base, not this one. That tells you all you need to know how they felt about it. But that's where it all started, is that the player did not get better defensively, and I don't know how much I mean, from all reports and people I've talked to, he did work hard. It just didn't work out. So but again, different GMs. So maybe if Breslow was here a couple years ago, they don't sign him, or maybe they move him to first years, and it all worked out, right? Like a different GM might have said, "You know what? We're gonna sign you to play a long-term deal. You're gonna play first," and he could have been like, "I'm good with that." And then you bring in Bregman. So, there's a lot of things that happened that didn't get resolved, like, and some of it is because you gave him all that money, you had to kinda live with it. That's the other problem with giving big contracts, that you kinda live with the warts of the player, and the player was bad defensively. You had to kinda live with that. We all knew that, but the fact that Bregman came on the scene, like, it had to be a perfect storm. Bregman just happened to be a free agent, said no to more money for the Tigers. He wanted to play here. He was drafted here originally. He liked Alex Cora. He wanted to be here. You could see the grin on his face the day he was in that press conference. He was beaming. How do you pass that up? So all of this is, it's feelings get hurt. I don't know if they approached it differently, if that would have even mattered. Like, everyone's saying, "Well, maybe they should have approached." You're right. They probably could have approached it better, but he still could have been pissed off, you know? Um, this is how sometimes things just don't work out. But, um, Conrad, the money the Giants paying the entire contract really limits you on what you can get. You did get the 13th overall pick in the draft last year, which I thought even getting 2 25-man roster guys, whatever you think of Kyle Harrison, he was one of their top prospects. Um, just let's see how he is here. Maybe it changes. Maybe he goes back to that form. Different philosophy. This could work out for both, but again, if one of these guys works out and helps you, and you allocate that 250 somewhere else, and I think they're probably gonna give it to Bregman. I wouldn't be shocked if they announced that tonight, to be honest. It wouldn't shock me one if they announced the Bregman extension. again, to go back on the cheap thing, I went away when they gave Bregman $40 million. That seemed like, whoa, 40. Well, what does that kind of tell you? They wanted while the whole, changing of their superstar. It's a lot of money to commit to somebody. So we'll see. We'll see if Yoshida comes back. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but I mean, I think he likes it here. 40 million is a lot of money. I don't, you locked up Crochet. I mean, for me, it's always pitching. I mean, I'd rather have more pitching than the stud position players. But I mean, I like the stud position. I'm just saying, like, even when traded for Crochet, people were mad about giving up Kyle Teal, but that worked out. They kinda knew, so we'll see. It's a short term gut punch. Everyone has a right to be upset and, not make the team better. Alright, so some of the players are talking right now. Boy, Ortiz kinda I thought Ortiz kinda defended him not moving, but he blasted him on Instagram Live. He was Crochet said, "Next man up." Durant said, "It is one of 26 players. They feel they have a good team, and that's the way they are looking at the front office bidding Devers." Crochet gave the same answer. Okay. I mean, there was definitely a divide in that clubhouse, and, so you look at it from the non-baseball aspect. This will be my final thing before I leave. There's Devers not, um, wanting to do a lot of things for the front office, but just not being a good teammate, and if they felt that was gonna really affect this they got a once in a lifetime core here with Meyer, Campbell, Anthony, and Narvaez, and Hunter Dobbins, you don't want, yeah, that big you don't want that kind of poison. So, this is a very bold move, and we'll see what comes about it. So, I'm gonna get ready to watch the press conference at 25 minutes, so good night, everyone. If you wanna send me a message, send me a direct message, and I will certainly reply soon. Okay.